friends, it's Sudhya from Backyard Garden Highlights. Hope you guys are doing great today. Today I'm in Lowe's and they have all the beautiful pansies and cool flowers and the perennials. So I thought I would share it with you guys. Hope you guys like watching what's available in Lowe's for March perennials and annuals, the cool flowers. Let's start with all the annuals that we have, beautiful blooms we have. The first one we have is Senetti pericallis. This is the first time maybe I'm reading this tag, and it blooms in spring and winter. That's amazing. Never heard of this flower before. It's a mounding annual, but it blooms spring and winter, and it's a full sun plant and mounding habit, so I always love mounding habit. It grows up to 12 to 24 feet tall and 12 to 24 wide, and spacing between each plant is 2 feet, and cold hardiness non-hardy to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So I think it may be flowering in warmer region during winter, but I think in New Jersey it's not hardy down to 32. That means it will die, I think, early October, but it looks pretty. I think the picture doesn't justify how beautiful it is, but let me show you guys how they look beautiful. The mounding habit and beautiful blue color with the white center. It's pretty interesting. Maybe a new variety. The next one we have is African daisy annual, and it blooms in spring and fall. $16.98. Let's look at the plant profile. It grows up to 2 feet tall and 18 to 30 inch wide, and spacing in between two plants is 2 feet, and non-hardy to 32 degree Fahrenheit, so in zone 7. Usually we get first frost around October to November, so I think it will bloom early fall maybe. Oh yeah, it blooms throughout the 3 season. I didn't realize that. That's good to know, because the Shasta daisy blooms only in June and then it doesn't bloom. Looks like this African daisy blooms spring through fall. So if you're looking for all 3 season in New Jersey, this may be a good choice, but I never tried that. Blooms are pretty interesting. They have lavenderish petal, and if you look at the outer layer, it's more of a purple lavender, and the center is beautiful blue color. It's pretty amazing, and the center is also highlighted with some hinge of orange or yellow, so it's pretty nice flower. Next one is popular variety, blooms in spring, summer, fall. I wouldn't agree to that. Pansies or violas. I think these are violas. So they bloom until the weather warms up, but after the weather warms up, they die back actually. And if you are lucky enough, they spread across your garden because they self-seed and they come in the next year. They sometimes survive the summer if you are keeping them in a shady spot, but they bloom in fall, but they don't survive the winter, but they do self-seed, and some of the seedlings comes and gives you a pleasant surprise. It's a beautiful, cheerful plant for any spring garden. So the next one we have is a pretty good combination of Pansy with alyssum. So let's take a look at it. It's 14.98 for this, I think maybe 12-inch beautiful container. This will be a beautiful addition to any spring garden, and they bloom until I think end of June most likely. Summer weather starts up, they start slow down the blooms, and mostly they die in my garden because they cannot tolerate the summer weather. But if you keep them in a protected shed or under the porch where it's covered, they survive the summer and then they start blooming again in fall. Pretty nice, and I think this combination is awesome. Always the blue and yellow, and it's not a striking yellow, it's like milkish yellow, so it's a pretty beautiful combinations with alyssum. That's again another cheerful filler plant. This 14.98 with the same combinations, 12-inch part with all the beautiful bright viola plants with a beautiful purple alyssum. You have purple alyssum in this plant, so this is really amazing combination. And you have with the white alyssum too, so it's pretty good, loaded with a lot of pretty blooms. 14.98. It's pretty. Yellow and orange daffodil. It blooms in spring. You can see the bloom, how they look. It's pretty, and it's $11.98. And once you enjoy them in your deck or porch, then you can plant them in the ground and they will come back year after year. A reliable perennial, and it doesn't really damaged by deer, so it's a deer proof garden. If you're looking for, daffodil is going to be one of the greatest choice. And they are coming with some pretty nice planter. Now we have a flats available. It's $3.98, so basically $4 for 8 plants. I think 50 cents a plant, and you have multiple color choices, fully with yellow or fully with blue, and you also have the purple yellow combinations, and you have Pansies as well as violas available in this flats for 8 plants. In $6.98, Pansy and violas. They are coming in a big tall planter like this. You can just plant them in a container for you to enjoy. It's not a flat basically, it's just you can add them to a container as a filler flower. $7, and they are coming up with all the beautiful bright and subtle color. Deck or porch varieties, you can just take them home and just put them and enjoy them for next couple of weeks. 16.98, and you have all different combinations of colors that will satisfy your color theme. Next up we have all daffodils in different planters and cost. Let's take a look at what they have available. Let's start from here. It's $2.98. I think it's the miniature daffodil, and you can see maybe 3 bulbs, 4-inch container possibly, so $3 small. And you have this tall, beautiful, I think Dutch master daffodil, possibly. It's 7.98, and you have, I think, 2, 4, 6 possibly. I think it depends on the container. You can choose the container with more stalks because that's the number of bulbs you have. If you see a clump, that it's possibly one daffodil they planted and they have 3 plants now. But look for the more clumps so you have more bulbs to. After they are done with the season, you can replant them in garden. They are deep proof, as I said, so you can plant them under the tree wherever you don't have a gathering water. They need a good drainage. That's all they need. They come back every year. It's pretty variety. Okay, next up they have a lot of beautiful pansies, but I think we saw enough of pansies, so now let's look at the Phlox varieties available. Look at the pretty color. It's amazing to see how beautiful they look when they are planted in mass. So you have, I think, 3 different varieties of colors. Let's take a look at them. It's 7.78 Phlox. I think Phlox comes in annual and perennial form. Let's see, this is a trailing perennial and it blooms in spring. Phlox, trot, pink Phlox. Let's look at the plant profile. It grows up to 4 to 6 inch tall and 14 to 18 inch wide, and spacing in between 2 plants is 14 to 18 inches, and hardy down to zone 3 and above. So it's a great cool flower. Let's look at the pretty color. It's amazing. And you have another different variety. It's a small one, and then you have some dark pink available too. The rest all looks like whitish lavenderish color, but amazing. 7.98. Next up we have is some pretty vibrant summerish color in spring. If you are looking for orange color tone, you have got some new flower that I think this is first time maybe I'm looking at this flower. It's a wallflower and sunstrong orange wallflower variety. Blooms in spring and it's upright perennial. Looks like comes every year, and it's $7.98. And let's look at the plant profile. It's zone 5, zone 6 and above, and spacing is 15 to 18 inch in between 2 plants, and it matures 20 inch tall and 18 inch wide. That's interesting. So if you are looking for some unusual colors in spring like this, it's a bright summer color, but if you want to enjoy the summer in spring, I think this is a great choice. Last one let's look at is I think this is the plant last time it got introduced in this garden center. It's okay, this is the wallflower. Okay, now I remember. So this is the one plant I planted last year, but I wasn't, I think, lucky, but I have to check my planter if it is still survives. The variety is Erysistible tricolor. I don't know if I pronounce it correctly, sorry if I'm not. And it is upright perennials, blooms in spring, fall and winter. That's interesting. I don't see it bloomed in my planter. I don't know if maybe the transplant did not work. I have to see. But it's $7.88 and it blooms except summer. That I think pretty interesting. We have to see whether that really works in New Jersey weather. And look at the plant profile. It's zone 7 and above. Okay, so then I'm not going to believe it's going to bloom all 3 seasons. It may be blooming all 3 seasons in warmer zones, but I don't think in New Jersey weather it's going to do that. but let's see. I think this is introduced last year since our zone changed from 6 to 7. I think it's something to explore and see how it really blooms and how it works in New Jersey weather. And it grows up to 16 to 22 inches tall, so it looks like it's pretty good tall plant, and 12 to 18 inch wide. But I really enjoy this bloom. I used to see this in India. I've seen in some hill stations where we go for a vacation. I always enjoyed this clusters of all different hues of colors. You can see it has some bright orange, bright yellow and purple, so it's a pretty good plant. Next we have purple hyacinths. It blooms in spring and 19.1998. That looks really super costly. I think, let's see, they have 3, 6, maybe 9 hyacinth bulbs in a decorative pot, but it's pretty costly, guys. The good thing is it gives so amazing fragrant. You'll enjoy a heaven if you take those blooms inside your home, and it's hated by deeds. It comes every year. Next up we have is tulip. I think looks like a Darwin yellow tulip, 17.98. And tulip also used to be come as a perennial, but it's not reliable though at least in my garden. And you have a pretty good full of maybe 10 or 12 tulips, and I think you have yellow and we have another colors. So let's take a look at. You have red and white ruffled tulip. This is again 15.98, but you have maybe 6 or 8 tulips in a decorative pot. Okay, next we have is Mediterranean pink heather. Blooms in spring and it's $13.98. Then perennial. Blooms in spring and winter. Grows up to 1 feet tall, 2 feet wide, and in between you need to have a 2 feet spacing. Zone 5 and above. Comes with 3 different varieties and colors. Looks amazing. Blue-eyed beauty African daisy, 8.98. Grows up to 14 inch tall and 20 inch wide. Spring, summer. Pretty nice color combinations. Next you have perennial, the lupine. It's 24.98 and it's a beautiful vertical interest in your garden. Only thing you need to be aware of is toxic to human and pets, animals. So you need to be cautious planting them in your garden, but otherwise this goes really well in any vertical garden, cottage garden and rose garden. I think I should give it a try sometime this year, but it's the leaf itself I love a lot. It comes as a flowerish, shape. You can see how beautiful the leaf is, and it starts with lime color. You can see the younger leaves. It's more of a lime, and they are pretty actually. So I'm touching the plant. I should be washing before I really use anywhere, but it's I think toxic. So make sure you do thorough research before you buy this plant. Definitely it's a pretty flower. You can see how beautiful the flower structure is. It's worth planting as long as you have a good awareness as well as right location is chosen. You have yellow lupine, $24.98, but look at how gorgeous they are. Wow. Pretty another colors in Phlox, 7.98 container, and it's a perennial, blooms in spring. And I think we saw pink color, and these are all some lavenders or whitish or bluish. A pretty nice combination. And this is my favorite color. It's a true blue color, and this is Graceward Lithodora, trailing perennial, 7.98, blooms in spring and summer, and it's a pretty good flower. I love it. Look how beautiful they look when they are planted in mass with other combinations, white and pink. Then we have Ladybird Chili, Dianthus 5.98, and they come with a bright oranges or crimson color. It's perennial, look gorgeous, and their ruffle structure looks pretty. Then we have our creeping Phlox. This is one of my favorite best plant. It goes really well with all the container to soften the edges. It actually trails through the container, so you can plant them in any tall planter and they will really soften and really add a lot of texture to your containers, annual containers or perennial containers. This is amazing, and this is $12.98 for 6 plants. So 6 plants, $12.98. And then you have some grasses for filler. This is a super blue, $3.48, and you have 4 plants, I guess. If you are making your own annual or perennial container, this can act as a center plant. And you have other smaller varieties. Let's see, this is again 3.48. Mando grass, dwarf mando grass. How much tall they grow, let's see. Looks like they bloom also and grows up to 5-inch tall, 12-inch wide. So pretty good if you're looking to add some centerpiece for your annual container. Look at these pretty varieties. This seems to be perennial. Red robin hens and chicks. Looks really amazing. I don't know how they survive the winter, but they are looking like a lotus. Pretty nice. Cactus family. It looks amazing. $12.98. And then you have $3.98 if you're looking for a small ground cover. Hens and chick. You can see all different structures. Pretty nice. Amazing. Alright guys, hope you guys liked watching this video. I'll see you in another video. Please support my channel by subscribing, commenting and sharing it with your friends.